How did counterfeiters exploit the fashion for domestic lighting in Roman time? Stay with me, Laurent Chrzanovski, to find out in this next episode of the series, Lighting Through the Ages. The term counterfeit is not pretty exact because in many regions of the empire, some medium-large factories of lamp have born. So, in fact, they tried to see what was fashionable to their customers. So, when they copied, and we have from the best copies to the worst copies, they didn't use an archetype, they just used an imported lamp and they molded and then they reproduced it. It was no copyright at this time, so it was not a problem. Where we can speak about real counterfeits is that at some period, around 100 AD, the whole Italian producers were implied to supply Rome. Rome was 1 million inhabitants, so it's like today something like 100 million if faced to the other cities. So Italy could not export anymore. The first manufacturers that started to replace the Italian exports were the African ones. The African bought directly materials from the Romans, so it was not a counterfeit, it was buying legally molds. On the other side, a lot of people, a lot of industries started to outsource. And so the main producers of Italy, because Italy was in decline except Rome, moved. The best producers from northern Italy, we find them in southern Gaul, or we find them in the Danube and in the Rhine, because they were following the legions, and the legions were extraordinary customers for lamps. Or they went to the richest part of the empire, meaning Lebanon, Israel, Egypt, and Africa. And then, of course, the trademarks were never intended for the final customer. It was just something for a captain of a boat because there were no shipments of lamps. Lamp was just an added value for a boat sailing from somewhere to another harbor in the other part of the Mediterranean, well loaded with huge stuff. And then they added 10,000, 20,000 lamps, which was nothing, was something like less than 100 kilos. So in this sense, the inscriptions, the original trademark, when copied, it degenerated. And we have also an hypothesis because these trademarks start to cease as originals around 150, 200 maximum. In the Balkan region, they extend until the 4th, but they extend why? If you did the army, you know very well how army supply is done. They will not count that how many lamps with a charioteer do we have bought? No, they will count how many lamps from Fortis or from Strobilius, two of the main lamp makers, have we bought. Were they original, were they filial, were they counterfeit? Doesn't matter. Do they work? Yes. So that was the first violation, if you want, of private names of the history. So this is the real counterfeit that distinguishes from filials that are more or less legal or more or less linked. We can link with the parents or with the slaves liberated to found a new filials where the lamps were used. What happened at the fall of the Roman Empire? Did the light go out? Find out in our next episode. Subscribe to this fascinating series, Lighting Through the Ages. Click on the bell to hear about new episodes as they become available. Why not check also other series in our science channel? This one on wearable technologies, for instance.